No blood was pouring out. Long story short, I don't know where he is.
For most hunters, the work starts in the summertime, filling feeders, setting stands, and getting trail cameras in place. Last season, I led a nice 8-point walk, fully expecting him to be my target buck this year. But as it often goes in nature, things didn't turn out as planned. As I started checking trail cam pictures, one particular buck caught my attention. He was a non-typical with all kind of unique characteristics in his rack. After reviewing footage and pictures from the previous year, I could only connect him to one possibility: a small mainframe 8-point with a distinct split G2. It was incredible to see how much this deer had grown over the spring and summer. He had transformed into a true giant, and there was no doubt in my mind this was the buck I wanted to go after.
Wow, that was a pretty epic first morning. Both of the big bucks came out, And the 10, he stood in front of me for like 10, 15 minutes, 25 yards. I could have shot him several times. But I was waiting on that non-typical buck to come out. And sure enough, about 8:10, he came out. He wasn't as calm and relaxed as the other one. I don't know, he spooked a little bit. He walked off and didn't come back in, but he was honestly a lot bigger than I thought he was. I was really nervous. And he was kind of pushing around the other bucks, like he looked ready to fight. So I don't know which one's the more dominant buck, but I really want to kill that non-typical. I think I fucking smoked him. just shot the deer. I know blood was pouring out. It looked a little high, but I still think I could have caught lung. I'm about to go check out over here.
After reviewing the footage, it was clear the deer was not smoked. We decided to wait 10 hours before trailing for blood, holding on to the hope that I might have caught the top of a lung or a main artery. At first, the trail seemed promising, with a decent amount of blood for the first 100 yards, consistent with what I thought I saw in real time. But soon after, the blood trail ended. 3 of us spread out to do a small grid search, and surprisingly we found the arrow, which was about 250 yards as the crow flies from the last blood. There was no additional blood near the arrow to indicate which direction the buck had gone. With no other leads, we suspended the search.
Well, guys, today is Wednesday, October 2nd. I think it's October 2nd, maybe October 1st. But we did not recover the deer, so I'm pretty sick about it. I've had people looking all week, looking for buzzards. I had 2 guys go back in there pretty good and check all the thick areas, and just kind of got nothing. So it's honestly just a terrible feeling, but I guess that's the risk you take as a bow hunter, and I'm pretty sure every bow hunter's experienced something like this. Unfortunately for me, it seems like it's been the last, 3 years, which 2 years ago I hit the big 7. I thought I made a perfect shot, but it was quartering to us, so I guess the arrow caught more gut than it did vitals. Maybe it caught all gut, I don't really remember. And then last year, the big 10 or 11, whatever it was, 12, he ducked my arrow, skimmed off his back, shot him with a rifle later on. But this year, I thought I was, like I've told everyone, like I was aiming low. Thought I was pretty good. I thought I was safe. It was 30 yards. I didn't know deer could duck so much at 30 yards. But that's exactly what happened, and now I'm paying the price.
In the days that followed, we kept a close eye on the area, looking for buzzards and setting up additional trail cameras. Deer that aren't fatally wounded will often return to their routine in time. On October 9th, 11 days after the shot, I got a picture of him at a water source. To my surprise, there was no real visible wound, and that gave me a renewed sense of optimism. The buck returned to the spot where I'd shot him on October 16th and 17th, both times around midnight, but after that, he disappeared. For the next month and a half, there was no sign of the buck. I was certain he had succumbed to his infection, been taken out by a predator or another hunter, or just moved on to new territory. Hope was slipping away. Until November 27th. That morning, a relative who lives nearby was out with his dog and sent me a video. There he was, the buck I'd been after. Seeing this video injected new life into me, and the hunt was back on. I hunted the following days after, and on November 29th, I had my next encounter with him. That morning, I positioned myself on top of a hill overlooking the field. As the sun began to rise, I spotted a few deer grazing in the open. I could tell one of them was a buck, but in the low light, I couldn't make out the antlers. As the light grew stronger, I realized it was him. Unfortunately, I was over 300 yards away and didn't want to risk such a long shot. I quickly made a move, heading down toward the pond to close the distance, but by the time I got into position and lined up on him, he was already leaving the field. The next several days threw me a curveball, but also gave me some insight into where he had been over the past 2 months. I started receiving pictures of him that were circulating around, and to my surprise, they were taken several miles away, in and around town. I was stunned by how many roads, parks, and public areas this buck must have crossed to get to these places. It was clear he was on the move, focused on finding does to breed, with little concern for where he was or the dangers around him. In the days that followed, the buck's patterns started to become clear. I would get pictures of him in the middle of the night, and during daylight hours, he'd show up back in town, often grazing in a field behind the Ford dealership my buddy worked at. It was evident he was traveling back and forth at night, likely checking for does. One thing was certain: if I was going to kill this deer, I needed to be there when he showed himself next, as time was running out. The only question was, when would that be?
It's like 11 o'clock, and it's about 42 degrees and raining. I'm gonna hunt for an hour or two. I may just hunt all day. The deer like to move when it stops raining, so I don't know. I think he's in the area, so we'll see what happens.
really sick about it.
Deer season started off really poorly for us. Thanksgiving morning, day after Thanksgiving. Well, today is December 7th, 2024, 2:36 p.m. And I think I just shot the biggest deer of my life. I was honestly scared these does were getting to my left and they were getting downwind of me, and I didn't know if they were gonna spook or not. So I took the shot. It's like 232 yards. Mission complete.
After a long and challenging journey, this hunt came to a close, one of the most emotional and rewarding experiences of my life. From months of doubt, worries, and almost giving up, to finally getting another chance, it felt like destiny had brought me and this incredible buck back together one last time. I may never kill a buck this big ever again, and I'm perfectly okay with that. This experience will forever remind me of why I love the pursuit. Thank you for following along. I hope this story inspires you to chase your dreams, embrace the journey, and never give up.